Good morning. Welcome to our March Platform to Share, our first webinar in a while, and around about 3 years since we did our kind of first Teams webinar on how to use it and everything. Today we're talking really about Microsoft Teams and 365 and how it can help your business. Might be able to give you some efficiencies. Hopefully you'll get some tips out of it. We will have questions at the end. There's a questions section, but if you do have any questions as we go, then please do pop them in the Q&A in Teams, not the chat, the Q&A, I've been told. So Jordan and I we're going to talk about some features in Teams, some new features, some upcoming features, and then we're going to do a couple of demonstrations of some apps that you can use within Teams. And yeah, so we'll get cracking really. So just a bit of update on us. So there's me, how I used to look with short hair. For anyone that's interested, I'm in a bet for 2 years that I'm not going to cut my hair. So if anyone wants to donate to our charity of the year, please do. A couple of new faces. Ash Farrell joined us in September. He joined from Chelsea FC, but he hardly ever talks about that. So you might not ever hear about that. But if you haven't spoken to him already, do introduce yourself, or if you'd like to talk to him, he's our service delivery manager. He's responsible for managing all the text day to day. And our newest addition is Tim Allen. That's not a real photo. That's because we haven't had a proper photo of him done yet. So that's my stickman drawing. His body doesn't seem to be attached to his legs, so sorry about that. Just a little update. Sam has sent an email to everyone regarding this, which is the Microsoft sign-in branding. We think this is a really good idea. We're doing this for ours. We've seen a couple of others do it, and essentially there's a couple of reasons to do it. A, it looks good, so you can put your logo onto the sign-in screen. You can have some of your own, so if you look on here, you can have some of your own text which can identify your tenants, so some welcome text. So it looks good, and by branding it and making it your own, your users and your team and your staff will know that you're going to your 365 tenant. So hopefully it will stop some spoofing, in that your staff will know if they get prompted with a normal 365 login, then something's wrong. And they've been, someone's trying to get their credentials or something, so they'll know to stop. And that, I promise, is all I'm going to mention about security today. I promise. So a couple of updates on Teams, a couple of nice features that are coming out soon. There is a big update coming out to how the files work within Microsoft Teams. So I know a lot of you will use synced Teams anyway, but this is what it looks like at the minute. You have your recent, in the file section, you have your recent files, you have files that are in Microsoft Teams, you have downloads, and you have your OneDrive storage. They are modifying this, and this should be available next month, so fairly soon. And I think they're making it look really nice. So you've got a home screen, which is going to be your recent files and folders. You can break it down to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDFs. So it'll be really easy for you to find stuff you've been working on. It will tell you on the right-hand side comments, and there's some activity on it. You'll know when you last opened it, and you'll know who owned it. The My Files below is going to be your OneDrive, so that'll take you directly to your OneDrive files, your personal files. The next section is where shared files will be. So files people have shared with you, either on a chat or from a SharePoint site somewhere. I think I'm going to find that really helpful when people share like a spreadsheet or something, and you need to go back and you have to sit there and think, where did it come from? You'll be able to go into My Files, and you'll be able into shared files, and you'll be able to see it. Download is pretty much the same. That's going to be essentially links to the downloads folder on your laptop or your workstation. And then quick access. This will be really handy. You'll be able to pin individual files, some folders, some teams, so you can really quickly access the stuff that you work on quite regularly. I think this is all part of the drive to get people to use files in Teams more, but also to make it a lot quicker for you. There is an update coming to Microsoft Teams, in that Teams has been around for about 4 years or so now. I think a lot of you know that it doesn't always perform brilliantly. So what they're doing, they've redesigned it from scratch. They've rebuilt it to give performance benefits. So it's going to apparently use 50% less memory. It's going to use 70% less disk space, and it's going to load faster. The preview of that's coming out in April, and it should be rolled out around June time. We haven't got any photos of the updated interface yet, but we'll hopefully get that in the next couple of months, and Sam will do some updates on that for you. So hopefully that's going to help people quite a lot. Right, some other new features. I just want to demonstrate a couple of features in Teams that have been released relatively recently. There's a really handy feature, kind of handy. You can delete chats. So in the past, you can go down and you can hide a chat and you won't see it again until you message that person, at which time when you do message that person again, the old chat will reappear. If you want to, though, you can now delete that chat and it won't reappear. So if I now delete that, it's going to go. It won't be deleted from Jordan. It will just be deleted from my side. So if I now message Jordan again, it will only show, there you go, it gets rid of the old chat. So that kind of disappears. It's kind of handy, kind of not handy, but it's something that's kind of good to know. Oh, Jordan's now messaging me back. There we go. So they've updated the emojis. I'm sure a lot of you have seen these already. They used to only have like a few reactions, but now these all work, which is really good. You've got plenty to play with. There you go. Always good for that. They have introduced, and it won't look very good on this tenant because we've only got about 5 people in this is our demo tenant. They've introduced using AI to search for people, to suggest people when you go to chat. So you'll come into here and it'll start to suggest. This is using people you've recently interacted with on documents and Outlook and within Teams already. So it's going to start to pick and choose people that you've been working with recently. A really handy feature is you can now delay messages in Teams. So I can say, I think I need to message Jordan, but I don't want her to see it yet. I don't want her to see that I was working at 10 o'clock last night. So I'll say, hello, Jordan, I'm not working at 10 p.m. Now, if I right click the send button rather than just click on send, it gives me the option to pick a date and to pick a time. So I could pick sometime later today, or I can pick a date in the future. It won't let you pick the exact time, but it'll let you pick within 30-minute increments. So I can say, okay, at 9:30, if I click send at a scheduled time and now click this, that's going to sit there. And at 9:30, whether I'm in Teams or not, it's put it onto the server. So whether I'm on Teams or not, it's going to send that at 9:30. And then finally, and I can't demonstrate it properly because I'm using the camera for this webinar, but you can record a little video clip directly into a Teams chat or a multiple chat. So you can click on that and it will look something horribly like this. There you go, there's me taking it earlier. So you can record video or mic, you can hit record and then you can send that to whoever you want to, which is a kind of a nice way if you just want to send a message out to some people. Right, so some demonstrations. There we go, there's my presentation. There you go. No, there's going to be demonstrations because I've done that. We have a few features in Teams we're going to demo. We're going to demo approvals to do Power Automate and Teams updates. So I'm just going to hand over to Jordan, if I can find where my webinar is, and I'm going to let Jordan share her screen.
Just close that and I'll open Teams. Lovely. Okay, yeah, so I'm just going to demo a couple of built-in apps that you already get as part of your 365 package. So hopefully it will be quite useful. The first thing I'm just going to show you is approvals. So something we have used approvals for in the past is for uploading new policies and procedures. So for example, in our main tenant, we have a team just dedicated to breakwater documents, and part of that is our policies and procedures. So this is kind of how we would do it. So I'll just show you very kind of quickly how you might want to do something like that. If you've got something like that as a process internally, this might be quite useful. So as a very basic upload, I suppose, you've got basic request here. This is just already just a template that you can use. So I could say, okay, I want to upload the new client procedure. And then in here, I can say who I want to approve it. So I guess it would probably normally be a line manager or someone responsible for that area of the business. You can select multiple approvers. and then you can select whether you want everyone to be able to approve it or have to approve it before it gets approved officially, or whether you just want like one or two. You can set a priority on it, so if it's something that's quite urgent, you could obviously set as an important priority. And then just some additional details here, so I could say here is a new client procedure. Please could and then here's where you could upload document. Let me just upload that. Any type of document. And then once that gets sent to John, he will be able to approve or reject that. If you've got a procedure that actually requires a bit more of a custom response, you can actually add custom responses here. So maybe you want options for approve, deny, or maybe like you want another option for requires further discussion or thought process, or we're going to talk about this in our meeting, something like that. But yeah, if you just want approve or reject, you can just use it like that. And that goes into this chat. I think the really useful thing about using it in a chat like this or a team is that you've always got that audit trail, so you can't delete these, so you're always going to be able to see the history of any kind of new document upload or approval. So that will go to John. You can also link this in with DocuSign. I know some people use DocuSign, so it might be something you want to have a look at. It's not something we've looked at yet, but I think what it does is then stores those documents in DocuSign as well. And obviously you've got that history in DocuSign, so quite useful. So not only is the approvals within Teams and the channels, you also do get the app as well. So in here, you can see any approvals that you have received and any approvals that you have sent. So you can see that I've just sent that. I sent a test approval yesterday. If you click on historic ones, you can see kind of an audit trail as well. So when you sent it and when it was approved and what the approval was. So just to show you some other ones, I suppose, there's templates in here. You can create your own templates. You can completely customize any of these actually, so that's really useful. So we tried their work from home request yesterday, the overtime, you've got their request for leave. So I guess if you haven't got an official process for requesting holiday, that might be something you could start with, just to see kind of how it goes. You've got all sorts in here, so I'm just going to pick one at random just to show you how you would set this up. So it will show you kind of the basic template and what is already kind of populated there. Go next. You can then select who this might apply to. So if you just want this apply to a group of people, you could put those people in here. So if it's just like a management team or something like that, or a particular department, if it's just a team, that will obviously be used for that. Or if you want anyone to be able to use this template, then you would select organization-wide. Okay, and then you've just got so you can change the template name. So I could just change it to anything you want. Category, so I guess I'll be sure you already do that before. I guess that's just to categorize it. And then a description of what you'll be using this for. Next. So here's the form, as it's like a form, I suppose. And you can edit this as you wish. So this is your chance to kind of change anything that you want on here. So collect at, I can just delete that because I don't need that question there. All these. So I'm just going to delete this because I'm going to use it for demo and it's a bit to go through it all, but you get the idea, I guess. You can edit these, so I can change that to a completely different question if I want. And that's it. Forms updating. You can select whether you require a file attachment, options, anything like comments required. You can turn that on or off, so you might have to have comments on it. And then I can publish it. And then it's here as a template for everyone that you've given access to. So I can then go back to approvals. That's under here, and then I can go in here. Then I can just select, okay, I want to send this to for approval. I need this card, please. I just want one box. Number. And then send. It's as easy as that. Obviously, I showed you the whole setup of that, but most people will just have the request template just for them to complete. And then John will hopefully get that as an approval request. So he would see it in received in here. He'd also get a notification pop up. I think I will actually, yeah, there you go. So he's just approved it. It's popped up in my activity there. That's what time he's approved it. Yeah, straightforward, I suppose. Might be useful for some internal processes that you have. Okay, and then the other app I want to show you is the very catchy titled Tasks by Planner and To Do, which I think is just an evolution of 3 different apps being merged into one. But yeah, something that I've actually started using more and more recently for really just stuff to do. So when I'm in meetings, like internal meetings and stuff, or operations meeting, and I've got tasks from that, I will add that to my task list. This is obviously just a demo account, but just to kind of show you the kind of things you could use it for. So your tasks are split into different sections here. So I'll show you a bit more about this in a moment, but you can have stuff in your day. So if you've got like a daily to-do list, you might want to put in or you have a meeting first thing in the morning and you want to add stuff to do that day, you might want to add it to my day. You can mark tasks as important, so they'll pop up in here. You can also add tasks for in the future. So again, I'll show you that in a moment. You can schedule them to for next week or something, so that would be in planned. You can also share lists, share to-do lists. You can share certain tasks with people. So good, I guess, if you're working on projects together and you might want to assign certain tasks to people, really useful. And then this is just a task list that I created myself. I'll show you a bit more about that in a moment, but really easy to create skipping ahead, create a new list or plan. So just there's a button down here at the bottom, and then I can complete task list. You can move where it goes. You can put it in a team if you like. So if it is a shared list, that might be useful for a project, or you can just have it as your own. And that, yeah, it's just really as easy as so weekly task list. Insurances. You can set a date, so you can set a due date for that, so that will pop up as a reminder as well. So if I want to complete that by tomorrow, you can also set a priority. This is a priority there. Yeah, just as easy as that. Got covered. So the really useful thing about this, I think, is that it does actually sync and you can use it within Outlook. So obviously most of us probably work in Outlook and Teams a lot of the time. a lot of time spent in Outlook for me. So this is useful for me. The daily to-do list that I created earlier, I just wanted to show you this. So you can see here, I've put some tasks in that have this little symbol on. You can actually have things repeat on a daily basis. So if you do have daily tasks that you know, if you're not so great with prioritizing your day and you just need that list at the start of the day just to go through and check certain stuff. I know, you know, some people, that's always helped me in the past. So yeah, I don't know what else. I cannot spell. 1 second. Something. So you can add a due date. So if it is something that's in the future, but yeah, this repeat here. So before you actually create that task, you can ensure that that is created either daily, weekly, monthly, however you want it, custom as well. So yeah, and then so once I've created that task, that will then, so every day I can go through and check these off. And as soon as they're done, it'll go into completed, and then, you know, I'll have it for the next day. And you can see that it syncs in here as well. The other useful thing about using it in Outlook is that it populates all your flagged emails as well, because that's, I know that's how I work. So my kind of to-do list at the moment is flagged emails, but obviously there are other things that I need to do as well. So yeah, it's all kind of grouped in one, I suppose. Yeah, and then planned, anything that's assigned for the future will appear in here as well. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Unless I've missed anything, but I'm just gonna stop sharing now, sorry. Oh, I was gonna just show holidays and expenses. I know some of you will have already seen this so many times, but I think just a reminder of the other things that you can do. So I did obviously show you approvals like template for leave requests, but something that we have built internally, I know for some of our clients we've built as well, is our holidays app. I've got a lot of holiday here. Thanks very much, John. Yeah, quite a straightforward app though. We've used it as well for site visits, so we can manage internally. So when engineers are on site, they can submit when they're away on site. They can also request holidays through here, and it all kind of pulls through to the same calendar. Obviously there won't be anything on that calendar because this is our demo, but just to kind of very briefly show you, you can put nice little emojis in there. So yeah, so I can request next week off as a bank holiday. So that will also work out any bank holidays. So that Friday's bank holiday, so it's actually only 4 days. And then that goes to your line manager. Really straightforward. You can document it. It's all got an audit trail. You populate the holiday allowance at the start of the year, and then everyone knows what the holiday allowance is. It all populates into a calendar. It's all good. And then the other, I'll just show you the Holiday Managers app actually, what we would see from the other side. John probably already approved it, but you'd see it in there as a pending request. So you could go in there and see everyone's pending approvals. Holiday usage, so how many days people have used. Calendar, we record sickness in here, so we can keep track of that kind of thing. Away on training, away on site, and this is where you populate the information in here. So really easy to manage for managers as well. And then the other app, just very quickly, is our expenses app. So if this is something as well that you have as an internal process, I've got no expenses, so I've just got John Travolta there. But yeah, if I've got an expense, again, really easy. I just click this add button here. I click what type of expense this is, you know, whether it's travel or a meal while you're away or overtime. And then, yeah. A ticket number in there so we can see what it relates to. and then how much it was, and then you can attach the receipt, and then that gets sent as well as an approval. And then at payroll, we can just export all that information into one easy spreadsheet, send it for payroll, and easy, done. Okay, that's me. Stop sharing now. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you, Jordan. So next up, and following on from Jordan's chat about to-do tasks and to-do by planner, I just want to follow on and chat about how some of that can be automated using Power Automate, formerly Flow. So I'm just going to share my screen, and there we go. So Microsoft Flow or Microsoft Automate is a piece of software in the 365 suite that you can use to automate tasks around Microsoft 365. So in this instance, we're going to demonstrate creating a new starter on the system, and it's going to create all the tasks that we set for it. So I won't show you the makeup of it yet, but we'll just demonstrate actually creating it. So we're going to create a new starter. So this is the flow. We've got a lead one and a starter one. So we're going to just run that flow, and it's going to ask for the name. So we are going to have Buzz Lightyear, and Buzz is going to start, we know Buzz is going to start with us on Monday, the 24th of April. And if we run the flow, in the background, it's going to go off and create some tasks. And in theory, it should create that in here. So this is in the Planner app. It generates all the tasks that need to be done. These are all preset within that flow, and we now just need to assign them out to people. So say for the finance option, I can come in here and I can click assign on there, or I can assign here. So I can say, okay, I'd like Jordan to carry out those tasks. The dates have already been set as well. So you can see that these tasks, the finance stuff needs to be done by the 17th. So in preparation, week 1 would start on the 24th. That's all been calculated. So week 1, week 2, week 3, and then month 1. So for like a follow-on meeting, that's all been calculated in the flow. We've set that to automatically create them things. So we know when they need to be done. So they will automatically go into the to-do list with that. If we come into here, we've got other options. Once you've done a task, you can set, right, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that. You can tick them off so you know when they've been done. Other people can come in here and still see them. You can assign a task to a different person if you want to say, oh, actually, I need someone else to store that. Only in this one section can be assigned to one person. You can't add multiple people here. So, but I want this individual one to be done by someone separately, so I can make it a new task. So it will take it out of the checklist, and at the top it's moved to a new task here. So I can now assign that to someone else. I can say, okay, well, Kintas can do that, and here we go. I'll tick on there. He's got that task ready to do, and he'll be able to do that. Setting the progress is a manual task, so you can set whether it's in progress or completed. Unfortunately, that is manual. It doesn't automatically detect when you tick something here, but it's still kind of handy to know if something's actually started or not. You've also got priority, so you can say when a task is medium, important, or urgent or low. If you click on urgent, it will start to tick them there. Let's just assign a couple others out to myself, and I'm going to make that important. And you can see that when you come into the tasks I plan on to do, you can start to see that I've got, there you go, that's the important one that's been assigned to me there. And also I should, it will eventually come through, it's not going to now obviously, it will also send you a notification that there's an urgent task has been assigned to you. That's sometimes, I don't think that runs all the time, I think it runs every 10 minutes or something like that. And if you're going to complete tasks, so once you've done that, there is a slight annoyance in that you've completed all the items on the checklist. It still says it's not been completed, but what you can just do, you can come here, click that entire task has all been completed. That's now drops to the bottom. It drops off for what we need to do for now. And I think there's one more thing to show on that. Oh yeah, that was it. So that's tasked in the planner. Just a bit about how that's built. So under Power Automate, it will show me where the flows are. We can edit the flow, and you can start to see this is how it's generated. We haven't written a lot of code. Essentially, a lot of this is drag and drop. So once you trigger the flow, it's going to create some bits and bobs. These are all the date setting, as I mentioned a minute ago. It's going to create a bucket, which was the bit at the top of the planner. It's going to create the different sections, and it's then going to start to do the different checklists and everything through there. And that's essentially all it's going to do. So you can click in here and you can see it's going to create an ID. And this is all, there's no coding here. It's not anyone sitting there writing anything. It's drag and drop setting checklist, writing items to go onto the checklist. This is where 365 is actually far more powerful than a lot of people realize. You know, you can create these to integrate with different of 365, so you can send up notifications to email, you can have notifications from forms and things like that. It's a very powerful piece of software. So yeah, we can all do more with that. Everyone's got access to it, and so on and so on. Okay, so that's Power Automate and tasks. The next thing we want to show you is updates. This is a relatively new application within Microsoft Teams. It's set so you can have you can request updates, or you can submit quick updates. This is to help information flow with people. You can have it so you can have some scheduled updates. So if there's a shift handover or daily maintenance that needs to be kind of reported back, you can have it set up and templated in here. For instance, you can submit a quick update. I need to submit a quick update to someone. I can say, right, I need Jordan to see that. I need Joe to see that. And that's going to come in here and say, here's an update. And they will receive an update. They will see an update within their Microsoft Updates application in Teams, and they will see an activity pop up to say they received an update. But say if you would like a regular shift handover, or you know, if we're doing it for Breakwater, an on-call handover each day, you can say, right, I would like an on-call handover update. So we can create, I'm going to request, this is me essentially requesting an update, and I can, so we've got these in here already. I can select a new request, and it's already got templates involved. So you've got project progress, you've got shift handoff, maintenance request. So you can ask for a maintenance update daily or weekly. I'm just going to create a weekly one from the weekly template. So key updates, you can change. Oh, this shows you what the template looks like first. So I'm going to, okay, that looks good to me. I'm going to pick the template. Now I get to update it. So weekly ticket update, and it's going to be, yeah, show your weekly progress on our tickets. Next, and it's going to go through here, and I can make lots of changes. So summary of tickets and plans for next week. So any updates we might want to do. Do you need any support? This is all completely customizable. It's all using Microsoft Forms in the background. I'm sure you noted that when Jordan was doing her demonstration earlier, that showed it's all basically done in Microsoft Forms. Here's where you can set it for specific people, or you can just have it so if it was a maintenance request, you could have everyone in the organization. So you could have, you could just give everyone the link to do it, or you can say, right, every week I would like Jordan to send me an update on the ticket handover, and that's what we're going to do. If I think there's a file attachment, maybe a report that can be uploaded, I can force that to happen. And here's where you set the template, the schedule of it. So I can say every week, you could have it 5 days a week if you want to, but I'm just going to say, actually, I just like it on a Monday morning at 9:30, and I'm going to publish that. So you could, this is where you could copy the link if you've done it for everybody. And now I can look in the updates and I can manage requests, and you can go in the weekly update. Jordan would then be able to submit this to me, and I would then get the updates in here. There you go, if I sign myself there. Let me get back to the application. So I think there's quite a lot of options in here. I think there's, you know, fire alarm tests, maintenance tests, shift handovers, maintenance requests for everybody to send stuff into you. There you go, Jordan sent me that update already. There you go. Not a lot, which is good. We haven't done any tickets. I like this. I've now got that update. I know what's going on. I'm up to date, and so on and so on. So I think that's the end of that demonstration.